I am not wearing my signature lip matte color today because if we're really honest, it is what feels like the dead of winter and my lips are so dry. So unfortunately, we're moisturizing today and this is not a paid ad at all, but look at this mini Vaseline. Is this not the cutest thing you've ever seen in your entire life? I love it. Anyway, Happy New Year if you're listening to this at its release time, but also happy day. If not, I don't know. But so glad you chose to come hang out today, whatever time of the year it is. And because this is a self-development podcast, of course, the first episode of the new year is going to be about a fresh start. But I'm also going to make the case for you that a fresh start can truly happen any day. You decide you want one, and it's something you can give to yourself no matter what your past looks like. Now, it's been said that time is a construct, a very helpful construct for sure, but we also have these awesome milestones pasted in our calendars that remind us that any time can be a time for reflection and a fresh start, but you can pick any day you want to make any change you want. You don't have to wait for a new year or your birthday or the start of a month or the start of a week, which some people say is Sunday and some people say is Monday. Anyway, friends, I am dying because I love this sweater, but I'm pausing my script because my radiator is so hot. It is like the 7th level of hell in this apartment right now. So I need to go change. I'll be right back. Sorry for the interruption. All right, I know you have seen this shirt probably a million times, but I am so much more comfy. So thank you so much. I feel so much better. I know you didn't have a choice, but here we are. All right, well, the point of all of this is that you get to decide when you want something new for yourself, and you don't have to wait to make the change for a predetermined time on the calendar. So it's more like guidelines, like Captain Barbossa said once, of pirate code. Anyone? Now, before we jump into the excitement of a fresh start, it's important to reflect on where we're at and where we just came from to determine where we're going to go, because otherwise we bring that baggage with us into our new travels and it slows us down whether or not we realize it. So we're not going to actually tackle that in this episode, but if you didn't catch the last episode, which was episode number 29, it's all about reflection at the end of a year or season or whenever you want to move forward, and you could give that a listen before you move any further on this episode if you want to. And I know it's so tempting to skip that reflection piece of the last season before you move into a new one, but I so highly recommend that you don't skip it because I want you to be able to enter a new time in your life as unburdened as possible by the past that will try to keep hanging out with you and hindering your progress until you acknowledge it. It's like a not cute puppy, if that's even possible, but it will follow you and keep feeding off what of it you haven't dealt with. And that's a process sometimes, and we do ultimately need to acknowledge where we've come from and thus what our starting point is in order to move forward in the best way possible. And episode 29 is also about the great things you want to keep with you as you move forward, but it tackles both the things you want to bring with you and those things that you don't want to bring alongside you. Okay, so after a reflection on your last year or season, we know where we're at and now we want to move forward. This is the exciting part. And when you dream up where you want to go and start planning that route and get to choose what you pack or what you bring along for that journey, you can bring the friends who have supported you and spend more time with them. You can recreate from fun moments from your past and this past year that you've enjoyed, and you can emphasize the good emotions you felt and allow to come with you the things that have helped create those good emotions. As you take that journey into your fresh start, you don't have to abandon everything, but you can be picky about what gets to move forward with you. Like the good relationships you have, the hobbies you enjoy, positive habits you've created, those can all come. And this is your permission to be picky about what you allow into a new chapter of your life if you need it. Learning to say no to the things and people who are causing me stress out of what feels like obligation has been an ongoing battle for me for sure. But when I learn to say no or draw a boundary, I'm both acknowledging my needs and preventing resentment towards something or someone by doing what I don't want to do or allowing someone to act in a way toward me that I'm not actually okay with, but have been acting like it's okay. In fact, if you can imagine how you'd protect someone you really love and the advice you'd give to them if someone they let into their lives was consistently creating toxic patterns and making them sad and holding them back from all they're capable of, you'd be fully behind them drawing a boundary, right? You deserve that same love you direct towards someone you love toward yourself, and thus giving yourself boundary setting abilities because you deserve to be unhindered by things you're not okay with. And it doesn't matter what it is. If you're not okay with it, it's okay. And you don't have to explain why. It can be helpful in relationships you want to keep, but also want to set a boundary for one behavior in if overall that relationship is good, but you also don't owe anyone an explanation for saying no, regardless if you want to continue that relationship or not. And as they say, whoever they are, and now I'm they or them, whatever, no is a complete sentence. You get to choose what moves forward with you. No one else is allowed to throw things in your suitcase. No one is allowed to decide what path you take, which brings me to the thought that you also get to decide what direction you want to move in and the things you want to move away from, and those will both be clearer the clearer you have been in defining what you want next. And perhaps that entails knowing what you don't want too, and that's okay. When I've dated or even spent time hanging out with people, for example, even friends, and have felt like it's not quite a right fit for a close relationship, there are often many great qualities that person has that made me consider spending more time with them in the first place and letting them into my life. But sometimes there are those things I don't want in my life that they bring to the table. And it's sometimes completely based off preference and my own lifestyle that doesn't align with the way that they live. And there is absolutely nothing wrong with someone living differently or living a different lifestyle than yourself. But if it holds you back from where you want to go when you're spending large amounts of times with them, it's worth evaluating if someone in your life is making it more difficult or slower to get where you want to go and where you get all you want out of life and how that affects you. They're on their own path too, but if there's a fork in the road and you know that down that road where it leads is not parallel to the path you want to take to your own destination, you can absolutely draw boundaries around choosing to walk beside that person or not. You may also have dreams and goals too that would prevent them from being on their path. It doesn't have to be bad things about people that helps you decide not to take that journey with them. And they could be great people, truly. It just means they're on a different path than you are, and you want both of you to achieve your dreams without hindering each other's journey. So maybe you part ways, you can both take the right path towards your dreams, or maybe you choose to just hang out with them less if spending too much time with them is detracting from where you're going and what you're working on and who you're working on becoming. So taking your own path forward does not belittle anyone else's path forward by any means. You don't need to violently cut anyone out of your life, but it is helpful to consider who's going to propel you forward along your journey and vice versa. Who are you going to propel along your journey and who has a parallel path with yours? What is mutually beneficial? There are people that even if your goals are different, you can still walk toward your goals together, and you'll both be making progress. I can have a good friend who has a dream to work in a big city with the best in their industry, And I can have a dream to have a business online that supports and encourages others in whatever their dreams are. Holla, using a real example here if you haven't noticed, but we can both be headed in the same direction, though our dreams are different. Like you and I, we can head in the same direction even if our dreams are different. Another person could still live with me in New York City, for example, or we can both live across the country, but both of us are encouraging each other on our paths forward and helping us to get there faster than if one of us was always dragging the other into intensive partying, for example. And again, there is no hate here for anyone's lifestyle. And some goals require what might look like quote unquote partying, but really creates networking opportunities in their industry for them, for example. We can't judge a book by its cover. And that sort of thing for them might create better bonds with friends, or maybe they love dancing. I love dancing. It's not necessarily bad how anyone's choosing to construct their time, but friends who will pull us into something that detracts from our goals or slows us down in getting there, we can absolutely hold at a loving arm's length for a season. You get to decide who is on your council, who's on your board, who's in your inner circle, helping you move forward, making good decisions for you, and you can all help propel each other forward. Okay, we just talked extensively about the people in your life, but it's a huge thing that can make or break your progress when you're trying to have a fresh start. There is practically nothing that feels like it pulls us back faster into a now less true version of ourselves and who we were that we don't want to be any more than social pressure and people from our past. People evolve, and we want to make sure you're able to evolve into a positive version of yourself and in a positive way by surrounding yourself with people who will encourage and support you in who you're becoming in this fresh start, instead of maybe being jealous of the changes you're making or holding you back or criticizing who you're evolving into. So, quick moment of gratitude too for those in our lives who support us no matter who we are evolving into and where we want to go. I could list so many, and I'm so grateful for you. You know who you are. All right, that's a big piece of a fresh start, is deciding who and what you bring alongside you for the journey in this new season for you, and what maybe you leave in your old season, or who maybe we welcome back more fully at a later time in life once their priorities line better with ours, still wishing them well and not judging how they choose to live too, but still spending the most of your time with those who will help you get the most out of it in an encouraging way. Okay. Other thoughts on a fresh start. Sometimes people hold themselves back from something wonderful and new and what they really want, even if it is what they want most in the whole world, if they don't see themselves as who they're becoming. This is a huge blocker that prevents people from achieving their wildest dreams, and perhaps is the number one obstacle we have to overcome when we reach for something more. You will act as the person you believe that you are. You will also let yourself have the things you believe you deserve in life. We're going real deep here for a second. I have an ex-fiance. My friends often say, wow, I forgot you were engaged at one point. And this was in my mid-20s and I'm now in my early 30s, but I legit say back to that, yeah, me too, actually. I forget pretty often. And while I am grateful for the fact that since what I want from a partner has vastly changed over the past 6 or 7-ish years, I absolutely wish them well. There are no ill feelings remaining toward that person. But when they ended the engagement, they said something that broke my heart for them. And I hope now they know they're so worthy of the love that they want. But they said in that moment as they ended our engagement, we accept the love we think we deserve, and I don't deserve you. That's a quote from Stephen Chbosky, and I hope I pronounced that name correctly, but oh my gosh, you deserve the world, friends. It does not matter who you've been. It matters who you are and who you're actively becoming, which I hope is the truest to you version of who you are. You deserve all the love in the world. and to be surrounded by and receive love and support from people who encourage you to be the best you can be. You are worthy of your dreams, and you don't have to punish yourself for who you've been either. The past is in the past. We can learn from it or run from it. Rafiki. But you can learn from the qualities of your former self that no longer fit who you're becoming and decide, like the people who won't get to walk this next chapter of your life as closely as before with you, that certain parts of you who were, I don't know what I'm saying, that certain parts of you who don't, certain parts of who you were don't get to come along this journey with you. There we go. Who you are now and who you're becoming and all the incredible, amazing, unique things about you do get to go on that journey with you, and will also develop more great qualities along the way and overcome more of who you've been as you become who you want to be. When you know you're worthy to have what you want in life, you will let yourself have it. Otherwise, you'll self-sabotage because you don't think it's something you can have. People also hold themselves back because they think that who they were doesn't merit becoming who they want to be. I call BS on that. A fresh start means allowing yourself to truly start fresh, wiping that slate clean, knowing that we are human and you have and will disappoint yourself in life. And some ways life will disappoint you too, but you have the opportunity to be so proud of who you are and who you're becoming and the life you're creating for yourself and the things of your past you've overcome so that you can enjoy your life to the fullest and reach for and grasp a hold of all the things you want and allow them to propel you forward to having them, which also means you need to make room in your hands and your heart to receive those things by letting go of what no longer serves you. And forgiveness doesn't just allow us to move forward with others. We need to start by forgiving ourselves for our past too, to truly start and give ourselves a fresh start. We aren't who we were anymore. Maybe there's a part of you that you were too that you loved and lost and want to get back again. Maybe you used to laugh more or were more generous with your time or resources or whatever it is. But you can redeem those qualities and have them strengthened like a muscle again. And you can reach for brand new ones too, while excluding those qualities and traits you don't want to define you anymore on that journey. We are human. No one is perfect. I'm certainly not perfect, and I'm always preaching to myself as I work to encourage you throughout this show. And the things I'm sharing with you always come from a place of having experienced a lot of them and trying my best to learn how to move forward and then sharing that knowledge with others that I had to learn and am still learning alongside of you. Your fresh start and your future rely on you forgiving the things of your past, the actions of your past, the you of your past that are no longer true to who you are today. Your fresh start lies upon you, we're winning today, friends. Your fresh start relies upon you acknowledging who you're becoming and starting to live like them with full knowledge that you deserve to be who you want to be, living the life you want to live with all the wonderful things included inside of it and want for yourself. This is about to start like an odd sentence, but hear me out, okay? I love hearing stories about people who have completely changed who they are after being in situations or putting themselves in situations or being rightfully in prison or jail. Every human can be redeemed, and your past does not define you. Yes, we pay for the consequences of our actions, but who we were when we did those actions doesn't have to be who we are today or who we're becoming tomorrow. We can choose differently. Whether you identify with faith or not, I'm a Christian, and my faith has helped me grow a lot and is based off of a God who loves and gives grace to undeserving humans, but in that grace decides that these humans, us, deserve a brighter future and wants to give us the best of the best. I don't deserve that technically, but in the faith I practice, our Creator decided I do because He wanted that for us as opposed to being defined by who we were or the worst parts of our lives. He wants us instead to be defined by the grace and love and joy that was given to us going forward, regardless of who we were. Complete forgiveness every day, a fresh start, every moment of every day that we need it. And you can have that. You can have a fresh start whenever you want one. You are the gatekeeper of your fresh start and how you perceive what you deserve and what you're willing to give yourself, and how often you're willing to forgive your past self will determine how quickly you become that better version of yourself who experiences more joy, because you will experience more love and approval from yourself and won't need it so much from others. So please don't fall into the trap of defining yourself by your worst moments. We all have them, literally every one of us, and they're all pretty ugly. Mine are. But if I choose to define myself by them, I think I'd deserve nothing but the worst ever. But it's not true. We get to decide instead to define ourselves by our best moments and how we are growing and what we're growing toward. Because those moments are actually the truest reflection of who you are and who you're becoming. When the people you love mess up, don't you show them compassion? You know that's not who they really are, like a reflection in what they did, and they were having a moment. They were hangry, or it was that time of the month, or something's going on in their lives, but don't you show them understanding and compassion and grace? You can do the same for yourself. Give yourself another chance and a million chances after that. Keep forgiving yourself. You don't need to punish yourself forever. Decide what it is that makes you so joyful thinking of having a life like that, and figure out what steps you need to take to get there, absolutely. But also know that you're worthy of your biggest dreams before you even plan them, so that you will let yourself have them and remove obstacles in your way instead of creating them for yourself and self-sabotaging the person living the life you want, which is you. Have grace toward yourself, forgive yourself, acknowledge who you're becoming and that you're on your way. So how do we actually do that? When you accidentally do something you don't want to, which, spoiler alert, is going to happen, you can take a moment to re-acknowledge who you're becoming. You might say something to yourself in a moment like that, like, I said something unkind to someone today and I feel really bad about it, but I am becoming an even kinder person, and to act like them, to act like that truest version of who I really am, who is really me, I've moved forward by forgiving myself and apologizing to the person I hurt, and am committed to trying to be more true to who I am becoming more often by holding back the words that stem from the unhelpful thoughts I've had when I have them toward others. For example, you might have not thought too about certain qualities you have that no longer fit who you're becoming until they reveal themselves like this too. So you can also in that moment decide you no longer want that for yourself. It's like changing out your wardrobe, and when something like your shoes no longer fit and you feel uncomfortable in them, you get to decide and you can pick out and wear new shoes that will help you move forward faster and with less discomfort holding you back. That was blisters, no discomfort. And another thing that helps is deciding who you want to become. So you can ask yourself like WWJD, which is like, what would Jesus do, for those of us who grew up with that background, and put your name and your initial in there. So I know I've shared this before, but it's such a funny, helpful practice. So I ask myself, what would Julie do? I don't even have to change my letter. It's still WWJD. But think to yourself when you're presented with options or a new circumstance or need to figure out how to move forward, what would the new version of myself do? And incredibly and simply at the same time, when you do the things the next best version of yourself does, you become the best version of yourself actively. You're doing what they would do. Therefore, you are you. In other words, You are the best version of yourself when you act like the best version of yourself. It seems complicated, but it's really so simple. And it also requires you having an understanding of who you want to become. And you can figure that out too via imagining the life you want and what type of qualities you need to develop or strengthen in yourself to get that, because chances are some of them are already there, or most of them. So I encourage you as the jumping off point for your fresh start to decide without putting any boundaries whatsoever on who you can become, who you would like to be. And know that even when you mess up, you're still becoming that person. I can be a marathoner, which I'm certainly not, LOL, not a real example, but if I'm a marathoner who skips a day during training and I don't run one day, I'm still overall becoming a marathoner. One setback does not take me out of the game when it comes to becoming who you want to be. And that is entirely up to you. You can prove to yourself that you are the person you want to become as you continuously over and over do the things they would do and make decisions like they would, and acknowledge thought patterns that no longer serve you so you can get rid of them or modify them. And the first part of this is knowing who that truest to you version of yourself is and what you want for your life, and then forgiving yourself for who you were. Focus on the awesome person you're becoming, because what you focus on expands, per Tony Robbins. Thank you. No one can drive forward while looking in the rear view mirror. I probably just moved my head from the mic, so hopefully you got that all. So what's ahead? Pick a point and run toward it, friends. I know you can do it. I know you're incredible. I know you are actively becoming. No matter what, you are always becoming, and you can choose what you are becoming. You'll become something anyway. Might as well choose it. And I've been reading Becoming by Michelle Obama, and I can't wait to finish it so I can then read her next book, but her memoir is so good. Highly recommend. You know me, book recs galore. All right, so we went so deep today, and I hope this was encouraging for you if you felt like you are in any way undeserving of the massive dreams you have for your life. I'm always going to tell you to dream even bigger, because chances are you might be minimizing the true incredible capabilities you actually have and how amazing of a person you actually are, and you might be playing it small. You can have even more. You can dream big. Don't be the one who holds yourself back from all you can have and be, because the one who decides you can have all you want and all you can be is you. The world needs you to be who you are fully and authentically. And you need it too, because you will be happier when you live a life aligned to who you are to your core. I want all the happiness for you and for others to be able to look at your life and know their dreams are possible for them too, because you're working toward yours and you're evolving and you're showing them they can do it too. And it creates such a positive ripple effect that you can start. Positive change in your own life positively affects others exponentially as it spreads. And you may not even see all the people you've impacted in a line of people who saw others reaching for their dreams and realized that was possible for them too. And it keeps spreading and spreading and spreading because you did it first, and you showed one person and they showed another who showed another. How cool is that? The world needs your most authentic self. You deserve to embody them in a way that is full and fierce and with as much joy as possible. Give yourself the gift of a fresh start as often as you need one and want one. Daily, hourly, by the minute, as you evolve and discover more things you want out of your life. Okay, I hope I've convinced you thoroughly now that you're deserving of a fresh start today and always. Happy New Year if it's that time that you're listening, and as always, go and make me proud, but most importantly, go and make yourself proud. You have so much to be proud of in who you are and who you're becoming. Let that light shine, baby. And thank you again for letting me change my shirt. I feel so much more comfy. All right, I'll see you next time. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the podcast. If you want to learn more, find the show in its video format, or see more resources for encouragement in living your best life as the truest version of who you are, feel free to stop by juliebethany.com or come hang out with me on social media on Instagram at Julie Bethany. And feel free to pass this along to anyone who might benefit from the message today too, and share the love and show them their dreams are possible too. Have a great rest of your day, and I can't wait to see you next time.